Hey Gemini, this is Christelle Martinette, and I'm here with a reading. It's a bonus reading for you, for your finances, considering your finances from now until the end um, of this year, 2020, more or less, month, because timing is always so difficult. I have here rose quartz that I've chosen for you for this reading as a focus, and that is a very warm stone that we know of. And I have here a deck spread out that only the major arcana of this deck. It's called Intuiti. It's a creative tarot deck fashioned by a group of researchers from the city of Milan in Italy, from a university there. And their idea was to study all traditions of tarot and glean the meanings, and then offer this very colorful deck. We'll be looking at that. So I'll be pulling 3 cards here, showing them to you. Okay. All right. Let's see. First things first. All right, we have here these are major arcanas, as I said, the 7th major arcana, and it is the horses of victory. I'll be talking about that in a little while. Then I have the 8th major arcana, which is called the fall, like the season of the fall. And then I've got the 15th major arcana deck card, which is the throbbing shadow in this deck. Now, let's see what these cards mean to you. I am right in front of a very big window, and it's shining, this light, but I hope I can continue, and I'm sure you'll be able to see it, Gemini. All right, Gemini, what does this horses of victory mean? Well, there's the myth of the winged chariot Plato talks about. And in that myth, he talks about a charioteer driving a chariot pulled by 2 winged horses. And one is white and one is black. The first horse tends to rise toward the sky in the rain of ideas. And I'll keep this away, in the rain of ideas. And the other one drags the chariot to the ground. So there's this yin and yang quality. It drags it to the ground in the sensitive world. The job of the charioteer is difficult. Okay, he has to pull the reins, cause suffering to the horses, and force them in order to keep the cart under control. In the same way, if we want to achieve our goal, okay, now in this case, our financial goal, Gemini, we must be willing to practice self-denial. We must strike a balance between reason and sentiment, man and the beast, freedom and society. It's sort of the entry into the adult world, into society. It reminds us that the victory in the material world has a price. So you accept responsibilities. The boy and the girl accepts the responsibilities of men and women. The artist talks about money to sell his works or her works, and the gypsy leaves the stars for the city life, okay, for the city lights. And so things change, and they're concessions that are being made. And this gives us an initial idea of what's in store for you financially. We're talking about concessions. Now, this is interesting. This is the fall card, the season of autumn. The god Icarus rises to the sky, and on his feathers, the wings, he flies towards the sun, which melts his harness of his wings and makes him fall to the ground. And there is this rule of cause and effect that leads to everyone gets what he deserves. We can call that karma, of course, and everything that goes up sooner or later must come down. So what increases needs to decrease in the end. What lives is destined to die. So there's always rings and columns and hoops that we have to go through and jump over these obstacles. There's a sort of a logic, a consequential logic that draws a line in the sand between what comes first and what is about to follow. And on this sort of line, we could consider it a tightrope, like a tightrope walker, Gemini. The present is finding its equilibrium. So when you're on a tightrope trying to find balance, you can fall either to the right and to the left. Your financial situation needs to be balanced, Then we have the 15th here, this throbbing shadow. And this is interesting because it's as if we try to convince, let me put it this way. We're convincing a lion that it's not a lion, but it's a sheep or a goat. And the lion sees that their shadow is the only thing that remains of them. And in that shadow, in the shade thrown on the ground, there's all that we refuse to admit. Okay, there are our primary instincts, our sex drives, aggressiveness, spontaneity. If we have the courage to look at the shadow, the beast and the natural side that we hide to others and to ourselves emerges and throbs. This is the throbbing shadow. It absolutely doesn't want to be forced, and it roars. It's a law that goes beyond moral and social rules. It's our own law, simple, intense, and gut-like, visceral. It's the real creative force that explodes from the inside and can't wait to be free and burn, just like Icarus's wings. Now, this is talking, Gemini, of your controversial relationship with money. How you have difficulty in finding a balance of going all out and spending all you have and just burning it, literally burning it, wanting to burn your money, and trying to see that there is another way. And I'm seeing that this period until the end of the year for you, Gemini, is a time that is spent between these two extremes, burning it and saving it, burning it and saving it. And there's a situation where there are people who have lost their jobs and they are out of work, or they have never found work. Okay, so they're in a different position. And then there is the Geminis here in this period of time who has what it takes, but there is this inner turmoil that moves you into not wanting to make any concessions at all. You will not want to make any concessions at all. Let me see what the tarot, this is a universal tarot deck. Let's see what this brings to us. All right, so we have the 10 of Cups. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better card, but let's see what comes around this spread then. Then we have this High Priestess, the High Priestess. There is the Ace of Wands, Gemini. Then we have this 4 of Cups, and we start seeing there's a crinkle in your armor here, a kink in your armor. The Sun there, the Sun, and the Knight of Cups. There is a hidden story here, Gemini, for you. There's a hidden story whereby underneath all of that tension, those two driving forces that are opposing each other, the spending and saving, there is something that's bringing you to this sensation, and it has to do with an emotional relationship that you have. that is burning, is literally burning your inners. It's churning, and it's causing you, Gemini, to have a sort of second thoughts on being the best person you can. Let me put it that way, Gemini. It's giving you second thoughts on, I'm tired of being Mr. Goody Two Shoes or Mrs. Goody Two Shoes, or there was an expression, the Stepford Wives, doing everything that is good, and I'm sick of being the good guy, or the good girl. I've had it with that, and it stems from a relationship that is at the bottom of it's trying you, it's challenging you, that relationship. But the upshot is, the result here is that it's taking a toll also on your financial life and your financial activities, how you save, how you spend. Now, what's interesting is, so we're in August, and this is going towards the end of, I was going to say the end of the world. There is an opposition with this Four of Cups. And, that I have to say, things look good. Life is good, all right? Let's say that we start with a situation, Gemini, where life is good. That gives way to this Four of Cups, where I've got to be dirty, I've got to be angry, I've got to be bad, I want to be bad, I want to have a reaction from someone, from something. And you sort of want to put yourself in the limelight through an act or an action that you have never done before. And what's interesting here is this opposition between, she represents the moon, the high priestess, and or the pulling and the waxing and waning of the moon, and the hiding, and the sun. So there is this opposition in the reading. It's very, very clear, Gemini, that you're having trouble here. You really want to fly up to the sun and burn your wings like Icarus. But, all is not lost, because before you really lose it in Las Vegas or at the casinos, any other casinos, it comes back. Your senses, you return to your senses, and you take matters into your own hand. You are literally, and this has a dual meaning. When I say you take matters into your own hand, it is a very phallic symbol. And when I say taking matters into your own hand, that is a veiled way of saying you rather masturbate than have interaction with that person. You want to go it alone. And forgive me for saying that, but that's actually what it is. You opt to get on your own 2 feet before then solving the problems that you have with the relationship. Now, there are other little goodies here for you, Gemini. One of them, first of all, is the notion that you are in a state of grace. You are in a state of grace in terms of your finances. The issue is, as I explained, until the end of the month, for more or less a 6-month period. Timing is difficult with the cards, but timing is difficult in trends, in universal trends. The interesting part is that you are sitting pretty. You have a sense of security. What really rocks the boat is, your emotions as caused by some form of relation. You may be, someone has, ditched you or left you, and you're trying to get their attention by seeing, by spending left and right, and seeing that, as a reflection of how good you are doing in your business, how successful you are in getting their attention. So this is an example, of course. But so it runs counter. It's as if you're measuring yourself, Gemini, through their yardstick, through their eyes. And the key is that your finances will finally be saved once you stand on your own 2 feet, and you can walk the walk and not only talk the talk, because eventually that is going to be saving grace. I do hope this was of help to you, Gemini. do write below the video and talk about your finances and what's up and how it resonates, the reading with you. And do join me on Sunday the 16th. I have a live Q&A session. I answer people's questions there. And the 22nd of August, where I channel Sushant Singh, the actor who recently passed away. It was thought to be initially a suicide, but there's so much controversy around it precisely during these days in the press. Namaste until we read together again. Bye-bye, Gemini.